Hello viewers, and today we're playing some League of Legends. I'll be honest, this has become my guilty pleasure. I will happily just solo queue this game. And I'll be honest, I'm not very good, so if you are like a frequent player of League of Legends, I would like some help. Help is always welcome, but I do feel like I've gotten quite good at Nami. I've been watching ways to play them. I've even been watching MSI 2025, which is just finished 2 days ago. This finished a little bit before the final, and as I said, I'm playing Nami, and I really like to go for the heals. Now, this is a post commentary because I tried to record games where I was talking as I was playing, and basically whenever there's a fight I just go completely silent because I'm concentrating so much and I'm not used to the game enough to be able to commentate and play at the same time. So that is why we're doing a post commentary. So with Nami, I like to have this item set based around the Dawncore set. So essentially by the end of this game I had achieved 41,000 healing, as well as 52% heal and shield power thanks to the Dawncore. So the way the Dawncore item works, if you don't know, is that for every 100 base mana regen that you have, you gain ability power and heal and shield power. So if you just stack a bunch of items with the Dawncore that do base mana regen, I should say, then you get essentially like huge boosts to your healing ability. So like in the middle of a team fight, when you use your W, which is called ebb and flow, it jumps alternatively between teammates and enemies, and you can heal and damage for a combined literally like 2,000 damage, which is just ridiculous. Obviously, as you can see there, it just went from the Vayne to the Lucian, so I've got a little bit of a heal on the Vayne, a little bit of damage on the Lucian, and it's really good fun. It's not like the most difficult character to play, I would say, because obviously it's just like click and heal, but you've got some other bits as well. You've got the Q, which is like the bubble stun, which I think is actually a really good stun because it's a nice area of effect. Secured the first blood. Actually, that wasn't the first blood because our Ambessa died. Our Ambessa really did hold us back this game, but this game, probably the best game of League of Legends I've actually ever had, purely because you'll see what health our Nexus gets to and basically what happens. It's going to be a fairly long game, but it's definitely one worth watching if you want like a game that literally goes one way and then goes completely back the other way. And it's all thanks to the fact that the Dawncore scales really nicely, and I have a feeling, even though I don't know the champions very well, I feel like our champions scaled potentially a lot better than theirs. So they had a Morgana, a Mel, a Lucian. Who did they have up top? They had an Aurelia. Their Aurelia basically carried them for the most part. So as long as we could deal with the Aurelia by the end of it, we were doing pretty well. Our Zac jungle was actually really good. Obviously I'm getting ahead of myself, and we're gonna be seeing it eventually. So as you see, what I like to do is I like to go to try and secure a forbidden idol. The other thing I actually do is I get 2 fairy charms, and that guarantees straight away at a first back for 400 gold you double the mana regen, which I do find, even though mana sort of logistics isn't that difficult in League of Legends at the moment. I know that it basically was a real big resource management thing when like years ago, but not so much anymore. But in the early levels with Nami, it is definitely a thing when you want to be getting off as many burst heals as possible. I'm using my abilities like as often as I can. So my E, for example, I'll probably do it around about now. There you go. So that empowers the next 3 attacks of my teammate. I can cast that on myself as well, which is pretty good. That's really useful for helping them clear waves and getting me a bit more XP, because I'm contributing towards them getting rid of the wave. Put a little Little ward on the dragon. I think that's the right thing to do. Tell me if it's not the right thing to do. I think it is. But yeah, I think I am slowly getting better. I think I've got my accounts like level like 50 something now, but I am hard stuck Iron 4. Like I'm losing way more than I am winning, like by a pretty terrible amount if I'm honest. But I'm just enjoying it, and I think the reason why I'm actually so hard stuck in Iron is actually because I'm just playing so many characters. As you can see, there we go. We broke that little magic shield. I don't fully understand how that works, but my Q bubble did break through it, and we got the Lucian. I think that was for the second time as well. The Lucian's died twice now. As you can see, I am actually also stacking the W because I want to focus on securing that massive heal burst. Because I think for a lot of players, especially in the lower ranks like Bronze and Iron, it throws a lot of people off that haven't played Nami that much. They're like, oh, that person's really low, I'll dive them, and then I get a huge burst heal off with my ebb and flow once I've got my heal and shield power and my W like really ranked up. It does a ridiculous amount of healing damage. On the tanks, obviously you don't notice it as much because they have such a big health pool. But for a character like Vayne, I mean, I might heal them soon, but I'm trying to, like, at this point in the game, I only like to use a heal if it's going to bounce. So like right now, I could use it, but then there's a 10-second cooldown of me not being able to use my W. So I'll probably go for it around about now, perhaps. I think I'll probably heal him now. I'm sure I probably would. I think this is going to be the problem with the post commentaries. I'm assuming I would heal them. There you go, there's a heal. So, I mean, how much did that do? You'll be able to have a quick look at what it was. I'm going to try and keep an eye out on what it was. But I can see it's still on cooldown as we're talking now. It's just come back. That was 140 health back at level 5 with no real heal and shield power at the moment. Except for maybe a rune. I think I've got a rune. There we go, he dove a bit there, and I was a little bit behind, which is my bad. But as you can see, we've got the heal off, and it just puts that little bit of extra pressure on. It's almost a bit like it essentially makes the W extremely long range, provided you've got the champions in the right place to jump it between everyone, which is very useful. But yeah, I'm going a bit more now on the heals because I know I'm running out of mana. I'm going to go back. I've nearly got 1,000 gold. We're going to buy probably another Forbidden Idol and maybe the Star Wand. I can never remember what it's called. There we go. Oh, we got the wand instead. So a bit more ability power. And our Vayne died. That was pretty bad. Not ideal, but never mind. Have a quick sip of tea. That's a good thing about post commentary, is I can stop for a quick cup of tea while I'm going back to lane. And hopefully me just talking. Maybe this is one of those videos that people watch when they're sat in bed. They just want to fall asleep to the sound of the drone of my voice. But we're not too far off now. Getting our R, which is a lovely big stun wave. It's a little bit like Maokai's, but it's a bit quicker. Obviously a lot more concentrated regarding the width of it. But it's very useful, and I do feel like I'm getting better at using it. There we go. We're now level 6. It does have quite a big cooldown. I think it's like an 80-ish second cooldown. As you can already see, this is a tight game. It's 5-4 so far on kills. I'm 3 assists in. No deaths just yet. I mean, you'll see what my score actually goes to by the end of this. Very happy with it, to be honest. So we've got Vayne back with us now, but also Lucian is back too, so it sort of levels that playing field. Just got to keep our Vayne nice and powered up for when they need it, which is about now. Go for that little heal jump, go for the Q. I find I don't... there's the ult. Nice, we've got the lovely stun off. Vayne probably wasn't expecting that, but thankfully the slow is it's so good that we can literally... Oh, I missed them. Oh, I'm dead here. Well, that was a bad place to die, wasn't it? I did forget that that happened. Yeah, my bad. Completely. There. Yes. Completely my bad there. But we are 4 assists in. We are overall a kill down now. But I probably was a bit thirsty for that. I should have flashed, really. I should have flashed and gone straight through. But I think it maybe still would have killed me. As I say, hopefully I'm going to get a lot better at that. And yeah. So I thought, right, that Lucian could have maybe pushed up, so I'm going to use my TP. Apparently, I shouldn't use a teleport as a support, someone told me. But I feel like it's preference, and it's all about utility, and it's like, you know, what do you want your support to be there for? If I want my presence to be nice and high, then surely I do want teleport, because I want to constantly be there to be getting heals off for my teammate. I don't know, maybe it's... I feel like some people claim to be able to know a lot and be able to do a lot with League. That's what I'm slowly finding out. But they actually don't know what they're talking about. And obviously, I am one of those people. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. I'm just doing things based on what I roughly know what to do. So I will figure it out. Oh, if you haven't noticed already, this was my first game where I went against a Mel support. Now, I don't know if a Mel support is a known thing. But they were, we were basically against 2 bots. One of them was AP, obviously in the Mel, and I'm assuming the Lucian's an AD. But I don't really know. I'm assuming it's a bit more of a hybrid sort of setup. So I went for the R there because I thought they were pushing and I was too far back. So I thought, well, I might as well I ult. That would be a good idea. But I made a bit of a mistake there. I sidestepped the wrong direction. But I did time the W, so basically if I can throw off my W to get a heal, it basically counteracts that initial Q damage from the Lucian. So I've essentially completely negated their Q damage just with my W. And then plus obviously there's a chance of it bouncing into the Lucian and doing even more damage. So I feel like Nami is a really good counter to a Lucian ADC. But as time goes on into this game, we're going to see just how much of a counter Nami actually becomes to Lucian. Maybe it was a bad Lucian, maybe they were playing a certain way, or maybe I was playing a certain way that was allowing for it. But I was keeping an eye on this Zac because he was quite vocal in the comms. So I thought, you know, he does want to get going. He does really want to you know, win this game. He was really going for the objectives and everything. A really good jungler, to be honest. From the junglers that I have played against. He's timing it well. He's not just like rushing into the dragon because he's here. He's timing it right. He's going to see if any of them come along. We've got the Yone here too. Sort of a bit of a tank. Is Yone a tank? Sort of like a bruiser tank, but I can keep them alive nicely. A lovely little stun there on the Morgana, which ultimately slowed them down enough for me to actually get off an auto, which I actually don't do very much. I do not auto them a lot. But you can see there, I've gone for an E and then a Q, so I powered up their autos, their initial autos as they were chasing them down, and then I've gone for more of a later on heal, later on in that mini fight, which I think really, pardon the pun, turns the tide of the battle very much so. When you do it a little bit later on, sometimes you can do it as like an initial, like, oh, I'm gonna preempt a quick heal for the initial ability and get off a bit more damage, but later on it can sort of confuse the enemy a little bit, in as much that they're gonna be thinking that they're sort of ahead in the battle as regards health, and that heal just completely turns it around. And that is what I really do like about Nami and all the other healers. A couple of other champions I've been enjoying playing is Soraka, but I can't quite get on with what kind of item set that I want to use as a base. I know that you should be a bit more adaptive with your items, but I do find it quite difficult to to do that sometimes. I just miss the R there, but you can see the way that the W just bounces between all of us. It's so useful. Like, I healed the Zac, I damaged the Mel, and then it bounced back to me and healed me. Just from one ability to do all that healing and all that damage, all that pressure. From one click of a button, it's so nice. But finally, we've got enough for the Dawncore. We had enough for the Dawncore actually quite a long time ago. And then we're going to go Dawncore into the... We've got the Staff of Flame Water and the Moonstone Renewer, but I assumed that... So the Moonstone Renewer essentially duplicates your buffs. So my E buff for my autos and my heal buff and my W will go to another nearby teammate, which I think is really good. But I was thinking, because it's only like a certain percentage of it, it probably wasn't worth actually going for until I had Dawncore for that extra ability power and heal and shield power. So we're up to like 118 AP, which does allow me to do quite a lot of damage, even with my Q look. Even though my Q's level 1, I'm almost doing half the damage of, you know, 16.5 minute minions, which I'm quite happy with. And now we've just gotten to level 9 and fully leveled up our W. Hopefully you'll see in just a moment, it chunks nicely. Like, they go for their Q, hardly did any damage to me because I can heal myself, but it's doing a nice amount to that Lucian. It's taking them just off full health, so there's that little bit of worry in their mind that they're not full health compared to the Vayne. Look, they get off a Q, I heal the Q damage straight away. They're shielded because I'm, you know, I might even go for an R here. Yep. I did miss the R, but it's made them sidestep. They couldn't get to their turret as quick, because they had to take a longer way around to go around my R. And that ultimately allowed Vayne to get that final auto off and actually finish them. So even though that R missed, it was a quintessential part of that fight, and, you know, stopping them from getting under turret, it made them go the long way around. Just little things like that I'm noticing in League of Legends, especially from watching the pros play. It's little things like that that make such a difference in a fight. An R that misses actually contributed unequivocally towards the kill. Again, turn the tide of battle then, healed the Zac as he was coming up, put the E on him, going for the Q now. We've got three with us. I thought the Zac had died and I moved back away. Look, I was sure that he was dead, but apparently he wasn't. Then he died, so I felt really bad about that, and I think I do tell him in just a moment. That Morgana is here. So the problem that I also am finding with Nami is that while I can run away quite easily with my Qs, once I've run out of abilities, I am pretty much screwed, and I do struggle quite a lot. Once, you know, my R's used up, once I've, you know, gotten off a W, I think it's like a 10-second cooldown, the Q and the E. Like, the E doesn't really do much for me, it's more for my teammates. Like, if I'm last one standing, I'm just like screwed, because I haven't put anything into movement speed, like, at all. Which I probably should do a little bit sooner, but I'm so intent on being as good at healing as possible, I end up just not bothering to do it. But there we are, we're only like 85 gold off getting the Moonstone Renewer, which when it comes to team fights, which are going to be coming thick and fast very soon, the Moonstone Renewer is really going to be helping. I think I did make the right decision, and I think it is generally the right decision to get the Dawncore first, because it is the foundation of the scaling when it comes to this like mega heal ability. Like, he's just dived in there. I got him up to full health. I used my R. Like, he's still at full health. I can go for another heal right now. He's still at full health. One of them's already down. Mel's nearly dead. Again, Zac is still at full health. He's probably got a little bit of heal. But, I mean, how useful is that? It's so good. And then he's back to full health. He clears the wave for me. Our minions move up. We try and take tier 2 turret. There you go. Redeemed myself because I helped him out there. He got himself the double kill. I got 2 assists. I think that's how we do it, but again, I'm a bit slow here. See if we can redeem ourselves on this Morgana. Morgana's quite a good counter pick to Nami, but this Morgana was actually playing mid, so we didn't actually Need to do stuff. So yeah, Yoni asked me to go mid. I don't really understand why, again. Mainly because I don't understand the full flow of games, but I'm assuming it's something to do with a jungle objective. But I wanted to hold bot because Morgana was coming down, but then Yone ended up going bot, which is where I was, which he told me to move away from. So maybe he just wanted me out the way. I don't really know. But we are coming up now to almost being at level 11. I'm a little bit slow here. We got off the heal, and that I can't, like, that was such a clutch W. We secured the heal. We did a little bit of extra damage onto their, was it a Pantheon or a Lucian? I think it was a Pantheon. And as we just make this push now, they can just attack the wave. You know, maybe to even take an accidental chunk from the tower. And my heal is essentially just going to keep them going at 100% health. The Zack's a little bit low, but like whenever I can, I'll just get a heal up. If I know I'm at full mana, like now, I'm at full mana now. Moonstone Renewer heals both of them, even though Ambessa was full anyway. But you get the idea. You get the sort of the, what is it? The premise of this build with Nami is that it's just ultimate burst healing, and then when it comes to the fights, you can initiate or disengage with the R and the Q as well. The Q is essentially does what R does in just a very concentrated area. So you've got two essentially points of CC. You've got the heal utility with W, and you've got the buff utility with E as well. When you're chasing down enemies, E not only gives three attacks, its autos or abilities, a little bit extra power, it also speeds up the enemy. Hopefully I will E in a moment. I might E Zack in just a moment, and you'll see he'll get like quite a handy burst of speed from the E. I can't remember what the E is actually called. You can see I'm keeping my my cursor fairly close to him just in case he needs it. He's waiting in the hedge there for the enemies to come. The frog gave them away. He does a lovely little dive, go for a W, secure the heal, secure the damage, and we're all at full health. We're taking the Sentinel. We're going to heal the Ambessa while they're rooted, so they're not panicking too much. They're diving back in straight away. As you can see, I've just E'd here onto the Zack. He's got a huge boost to chase down the Lucian. I need to try and W here, but I was on full cooldown, so all I actually had left was my R, so I basically had to go for an R to stop the Lucian from chasing the Zack, but the Zack just jumped in regardless, and we did actually lose that, but I think it was probably worth it. Zack was happy, as you can see from the chat log. Good support was my bad. Yeah, from my perspective, he probably shouldn't have jumped back in with the health that he was at. Yeah, and I said I ran out of heals to give. I literally did. But I don't know if I do, but if I unlocked I actually don't ever go for it, but I think it's the redemption one. That does give some decent heals, but I feel like it's a slightly wasted on Nami, because they do so much heal anyway. To have an item slot to do like between 200 and 400 heal, that's my W. So yeah, this for once we actually had some nice teammates. Yeah, he said, he said, yeah, I have to play it better, but only a game, have fun, give best. And I said, I always do, no rage. I really do try not to rage at this game. It can be frustrating, but when you're iron, what's the point? There's no point in it. I think even if you're bronze or silver or gold, I don't think there is much point in raging at the game. You've just got to enjoy it, because I think at that stage in the game, it takes such a long time to rank up. And I'm always flitting between champions anyway. I think that's half the time why I lose. I mean, I tried a Kai'Sa support the other day. That did not go well. People did not like me doing that. But I just did it completely wrong. I did the items wrong, and I did like the upgrade thing wrong. But if you haven't made it this far into the video, thank you. I really do appreciate it. We're probably just getting into the 25-ish minute mark. Well, it's 25 minutes into the game. So maybe we're just under 25 minutes for the actual video. but I do appreciate if you'd make it this far into the video. If you are a frequent player of League of Legends, and there is any like essential advice that you would give me, especially playing support, I do main support, which I've heard is something you shouldn't do when you first start the game, because everyone should be able to play support. But if you really want to be really good at support, I do think you can't just assume that anyone can play it. I do think that you've got to have that mindset where you're thinking just as much about the rest of the team as you are about yourself. Whereas someone like, you know, a Yone that might play top or mid is probably thinking a little bit more about themselves than a support player might. So I think, you know, there is definitely an element of, you know, being a lot more selfless when it comes to playing as a support, like I am right now. I'm just staying on the back line, but I know that there's a Morgana coming, but I'm going to try and keep this Yone alive as much as I can. I'm going to do a little bit of area denial with the Q. Apparently people want to surrender. That's not a good idea. We definitely don't want to surrender, because I'm 12 assists in. We're keeping him alive decently. We've used an R, we've used the W, we've used the Q. Mel is finally down, Morgana's down, and I am very, very happy about how I performed then. The R was clutch because it not only did it stun and knock up the Mel and Morgana, it also knocked up the... Oh, this is... I'll carry on in a second. Look, watch the Nexus. Look, they've nearly won. I'm sure you probably saw it on the minimap in the bottom corner. I did notice it at the time. But look at the Nexus. But we actually got an ace after they destroyed both of our Nexus turrets. So yeah. So now we've got the... This was a mistake here. But no, I was really happy that it also knocked up the minions as well as the actual enemy champions, because that, I think, was what provided the respite that the Yone needed to be able to actually get off his abilities and win that fight. The reason I teleported there is because I knew that we had I thought we had a wave up there, and I should have checked really, and it was a bit stupid of me, but I don't know how you cancel a teleport once you click it. I don't even know if you can, to be honest. But yeah, I saw that the Morgana was coming back, so I was like, right, let's just hold off this Lucian and this Pantheon with some Qs and some Rs. The Yone came back, destroyed the Morgana. The Morgana could not, thankfully, destroy the Nexus. The Pantheon is down. The Lucian's backing up nice and quickly now. The Vayne gets a double kill. We do actually, very thankfully, secure a double assist off that. That Vayne is absolutely ridiculous. It's got some kind of like Omnivamp or heal, but we've got 4 players on it now trying to get this Aurelia, but you know, basically the whole team goes down bar me and Yone, and I'm like, right, we need to back up now. Zach's given up, he's saying GG. I'm like, no, we're not giving up here. I can still do this. I've got 30 seconds on my R. If I can hold them off with some E's and W's, keep the Yone alive enough to be able to maybe get a quick stun on the Aurelia, and perfect. We destroyed their Aurelia. That was their hard carry. That was essentially their win condition in some ways. So we kept them alive, and we're gonna keep going. The Nexus is slowly healing itself. Hopefully the Nexus turrets will be back up fairly soon. I think it takes a while for them to come back. Oh, actually, there is one Nexus tower already coming back. So I'd put into the thing, push bot on counter, because we've got all turrets, tier 1 and tier 2 turrets are down on the bottom. But obviously that is the furthest turret lane away from Baron, which is sort of your win condition really. You want to be able to get Baron and then push. Zach wants to go for Baron, but at the moment, because we've got all our inhibitors down and our Nexus turrets, we can't really afford to push out of the base, in my opinion. And being as I can't really 1v1 anyone on their team, I have to essentially hang around the rest of the players on my team. We've got a little bit of a heal there. It wasn't enough to keep the Zac going, but it was enough to keep the Yone going. The Yone was able to get a disengage off. We're just going to keep healing them as much as we can. Just keep them in the fight, really. Keep the line nice and high. Bit of denial with the Q. Our Vayne's been doing a lovely job at ADC, but that Irelia is quick. But there was another shutdown. Not shut down in the way that you have in League of Legends, but we shut them down. If that makes sense. And we're doing fairly well now. We just got to stay together. As long as I can keep enemies alive, they just inherently have such a better time. That was a really bad Q in my opinion, which probably is going to get that Yone killed. No, the Yone's alive. The Vayne's still looking. Oh my god, look at that damage. Right, we just need to... That is a really long route as well, and I was waiting for the cooldown on the W. I think maybe if there was any other item I could get, it probably would be some kind of ability haste improvement. But I think that will naturally come, because I think I go for the Ardent something, whatever it's called, and I think that's got ability haste. I am really going on now, but yeah. I wanted to do a post-commentary for this game, because as my first League of Legends game on the channel, because... it's my favourite champion. It's the champion that I'm sort of best at the moment. And, well, you'll see just how many assists I end up getting. If you can take a guess how many assists I end up with, I'll be very impressed if you get it right. But it was I got over 41,000 heals by the end of this game. We are now another big team fight. We've got the W for those burst heals. The Lucian's Arden basically completely missed us. The Pantheon has ulted, gone after me. I've used my art to get the stun in. I'm alive just for now. I missed the Q, and I think missing the Q was the big thing there. If I didn't miss the Q, I would have been alright at staying alive, and I probably would have got a few more heals up, and Zac would still be alive too. But unfortunately the Pantheon does get the double kill, but we do secure that Staff of Flowing Water, and then we also buy the Ardent Sensor, which I cannot remember what it does, but it's important. I think it's whenever I heal or shield an ally, it gives them ability power. I think that's what it does. Or is that the Staff of Flowing Water? I'm sure you probably know a lot more than me. But yeah, that is why I've got it in my item set. Thankfully, the Yone stayed alive. Only two of their champions are dead at the moment, but as long as one of us is alive, they can't really push. The Lucian has actually tried pushing again on the mid lane. He's destroyed the inhibitor once again, which is a little bit of a pain, but they didn't have enough time or DPS essentially to break much further past it. I think they lost their wave, and you know, we're on our way back into the lane now to sort of clear them out of our jungle and things like that. The Yone did eventually go down to the Pantheon. The Pantheon was also doing quite a good job at the 1v1 fights when I wasn't healing. When I was healing, the Pantheon was really struggling. Got a bit of a team fight coming up here. If I can get a heal off, lovely. A huge heal I just got off then for the Vayne. We used the R as well to slow down the Irelia. I'm probably going to go down here. Yeah. So I think I did just enough to keep the Irelia there. Keep them they've used up their abilities, so then when the actual DPS players like Zac and Vayne drop in, he's wasted all of his abilities on me, and they're in full health because my Ebb and Flow W is just like bouncing between them, and even though I'm gone, they're full health and they're basically wiping them. They've got just a Morgana left, hiding somewhere in their lane or in their jungle, and you know, off they go. I think they're probably fighting Atakan. Atakan hasn't spawned yet, actually. No, maybe we already did it. Anyway, we're going for the Baron now. They're probably going to defeat that Baron by the time I can even get there. I'm going to try and get there regardless, but then at the same time, if we all go Baron, we've got to be very careful that they don't just dive the Nexus. We have got our Nexus turrets back up online, but if they do a big push, there is a chance that they could very quickly get through, so we've got to be careful. So there we are. They started going for the Baron, but then they sort of backed away. Ambessa is basically on about 5% health, so that isn't ideal. I get a nice heal off just in case we do get dove. I always think now my mana regen is so high. Look, it's 23.1 per second. So I can essentially just get off a random heal if I want to, and it will come back in 3 seconds. The mana that I spent will come back in 3 seconds, even though it's a 90 mana ability once it's fully stacked. With this combination of items, 3 seconds. Bearing in mind it takes 10 seconds for the actual ability. That was such a clutch W as well. They did a huge dive as I did it, so once the spell is locked on, it will just follow them. So it healed them at the perfect point to take out that Morgana and eventually, hopefully, the Pantheon. I'm trying to get as many heals off as I can. I get such a clutch Q there to basically hoist up the Pantheon into a bubble. So it's basically just stabbed to death by Ambessa and Zac, which is allowing us to carry the wave, including a canyon forward. A cannon. Sorry, I've been watching MSI and there's a character called Canyon. I know it messes up with my head. I always think cannon and canyon, but it's not the same thing. But we got a really important turret there. Even though we're at the 36-minute mark, we've only just got the tier 2 mid turret, which, you know, they took a long time ago. And now we've got we took out the Pantheon. Morgana's only just coming back. They're having to reset their turret. They don't really know where we are, so we're going to double back. Zac's going to wait in the bush there. Yone and Ambessa is going to take on the Drake. We're waiting here for them. Lovely dive by Zac from there. We're going to get the knock up with the eye. Doesn't actually do anything necessarily, but is that the vein there, is it? Yeah. Oh no, that's the Aurelia, sorry. The Aurelia, that is what I meant. Was there. It did a decent amount of damage. And I think, yeah, they actually stole that Drake, which isn't ideal. But stealing the Drake doesn't really matter if 4 of your team are dead. So we're making a lovely push now over to the Baron, which they're definitely not going to steal. Hopefully. I love that ability from Zac, that he can, like, launch himself like that. It does make me want to give Zac a go, but it would have to be in a support capacity, because I'm just not that confident at any other role, because I've played support for essentially 50 odd levels of my account. To go now to play like jungle, mid, top, whatever, I think would be, I just wouldn't be very good at it, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I do need to time a good moment now to actually go back and buy my boots. I think I'm going to get the Ionian boots, I think I end up getting. But yeah, I was so focused on healing the Yone then. I didn't even see the Pantheon come up behind me. But my heals are so good that thankfully we can just keep going, keep getting off these heals, keep getting off these Qs, just powering up everyone that we possibly can. The Zac can just jump in and it's just getting burst healed after burst heal after burst heal. Got the area denial with the Q. I was just so happy with how it turned out. I think I just scaled perfectly with the items, and well, there you go. That is how we keep everyone alive. I mean, you see how much. I mean, that did what, 30-40% of Ambessa's health as a heal. I mean, you can't get much better than that, can you? We'll go for another heal now, probably on the Ambessa again, up to half health with 2 Ws, which is pretty ridiculous, because they were on about 1 health about 10 seconds before. And there you go, we've gone from basically having a 1 health Nexus to pushing as a 3 and actually securing the victory. I ended up with, I think, 3 or 4 deaths? I think I had 2 kills and I had 39 assists. So the game's going to end now, and I apologise if it's a black screen for too long. It's not, thankfully. And we're not going to hear anything now because my sound is not linked to my OBS for this sort of client of League of Legends. But we secured the S+, which I have only done a couple of times, but I've never actually done it in ranked, so I was very happy about that. So I want to go to the scoreboard, and obviously because I've had a good game, there we go. So it's 1 kill, 5 deaths, 39 assists for an 8 KDA, and it just made me be like, yeah, Nami is definitely my main. I only did 17,000 damage, but as I said, 41k on the heals. I'm just going to jump to it now. I'm just going to have to do a little bit of editing, I suppose. So I'm just going to skip ahead on the video that I'm currently watching. So yeah, 41,553 healing. Ally healing was 35,000, and obviously a little bit, so some of that healing, about 5,000-6,000 or so, was on me. But I think that's because my healing is bouncing to me sometimes. We actually also did 8,000 shielding, and that will be just from the Summon Airy rune. But yeah, thank you very much if you did make it this far into the video. This was like a 40-odd minute video, so I don't usually do videos this long, but I think it did deserve it because it was such a good game. And if you do enjoy League of Legends or just people talking in general, because I really did love this. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.